Hey everybody, happy hump day. I see there in the chat that you did not get an alert. Do you know how many people keep telling me that they're not getting alerts? I'm a little bit I don't know. I don't want to be that conspiracy guy, but I think it's kind of weird how many people aren't getting alerts for my lives or a lot of times even for my videos. So just if you could keep telling me that, because I'm going to actually see if I can make a complaint. I don't like to complain. It's gross, but I think I need to because it's weird that people aren't getting the notification that I'm coming on. And I don't know, am I being suppressed here? I don't know. I don't want to think that I am because, again, I don't want to be that conspiracy guy. But anyway, let's move forward. And hi, everybody. Happy hump day. Happy therapy day. I miss you guys. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm still recovering from my friend's death, and it's been a kind of rough road for me. I'll be honest. I feel tired. I don't know if I'm getting coming down with something. I think colds and stuff are going around right now, but I feel like kind of mentally and physically exhausted this whole last week. And I don't know if you all are feeling that way, but I don't know if it's the weather or the just the heaviness of losing a friend or just life in general or dealing with the insanity of the internet. Now, I want you to know that I do take breaks from this. I don't live on this 24/7, and I don't sit here and, wallow in my misery, if that makes sense. I do sort of try to take some breaks. But let's get into that a little bit after I start to shout you all out. And thank you all so much for joining me. You guys always make my day, make me feel happier. So I always look forward to this day. So the first one I see is we got Vermont in the house. We got Iowa in the house. Tell me where you're from so I can shout you all if you're new here. That's what we like to do first. And we're building an awesome community. I got Virginia in the house. I got Italy in the house. We got Italy in the house. You guys are awesome. You're going to see we got a really amazing. We got Dorset, UK in the house. We got an amazing community that we've been building here if you're new, and I really welcome you, and we all welcome you, and thank you for joining us here today. We got Minnesota in the house. We got Richmond, Virginia in the house. Got a lot of Virginians today. That's interesting. We got the Netherlands in the house. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thanks so much for the super sticker. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much, Evan. Thank you guys for supporting the channel financially as well. Really, Louisiana in the house, and no need that you have to. It's always a thank you, and I never want you to feel like you have to do that. So again, thank you for even thinking of me that way. Maine in the house, Arkansas in the house. We got Vicky in the house. Right on. We got Seattle and hi Vicky. We got Quebec in the house. Ohio's in the house. Another Ohio's in the house. Is that two, or am I being like hallucinating? Italy in the house, Washington in the house, Arizona in the house, Dallas, where my friend Dean, who passed away, was from, too. Dallas in the house, Georgia in the house, Canada in the house, Virginia in the house, California in the house, Ontario, Canada in the house. We got Wales in the house, Israel is in the house, right on. Florida's in the house. We got Sweden in the house. Look at that. Cold Sweden. Yeah, isn't it always cold in Sweden? Every time I've been there, it's been freezing. Texas in the house. Chile's in the house. Thank you for being here. That's so awesome. Australia's in the house, which I will be there in Florida in February. Sorry, Florida in the house. Virginia in the house. We got Islaton. Is that California? Sorry, my eyes, I gotta go get them checked. It's ridiculous. Indiana in the house. Chicago. I want to talk about that for a minute. Alabama in the house. Delaware in the house. North Carolina. Israel in the house. Right on. We got Wales in the house. We got everyone in the house today. West Virginia, Colorado. Right on. Tennessee, New York in the house, Eastern North Carolina, Ohio, Arizona, East Tennessee in the house, Georgia, Connecticut. Wow, you see that? I'm telling you guys, we have really, really amassed a large population of the world here. Switzerland in the house. One thing I want to say, this is going to sound funny coming from me, but as you know, I'm a biological female. I can't say it enough, but I live as a male. But the traits. So we know there's stereotypes of males and females, right? We know that. That's a factual thing. But we also know that there's actual like things men do. I don't. Are those stereotypes? Are they actually things men do? So one of the things I do a lot is I put off going doctor, and I put off sort of taking care of myself in a more medical sense. Does that make sense? And so I do notice that women tend to take care of them, go to the doctor, do those things, and it's just my observation as well as talking to other people, and that men don't tend to necessarily want to go to the doctor until it's like, okay, I gotta go, I'm super sick. That and I do think it's a stereotype, but I also do think on some level it's literally real. Oh, we got a detransitioner in the house. Thank you for joining us. And so, see, right here, my husband is a nurse and he never goes to the doctor. I know we're talking about stereotypes. Don't get me wrong, but I seriously do. So I think to myself, am I really a dude? Because I literally, you know how I've been complaining about my eyes to all of you forever because we're neurotic. It could be that. But forever I've been complaining about my eyes and I'm still not going to the doctor and my eyes are still getting worse. And it's why I actually sometimes, if you notice, I look over here because I have a bigger screen over here and it helps me to see what you're all. It's hereditary. I don't know, but I'm wondering, I can't remember if I was even like that when I was, living as a woman. I think that I didn't even go to the doctor then. So, I've always had more masculine traits if that makes sense. But I don't want to lay those stereotypes down. It's just funny to me because my partner is always like, God, you got to go to the doctor. I'm like, I know. Or you got to go to the eye doctor. I know. And it always until I get like super sick and then I'm pushing myself to the doctor. So I'm making a promise. I'm actually going to be going to the eye doctor because it's horrible. I can't read some of the little stuff here unless I look at this. So, and also like, it's uncomfortable when you can't see things. It's like, why am I making, that's the other thing. Why am I making myself uncomfortable? Why don't I just go to the eye doctor? Why do I keep putting it off? I couldn't even answer that if I wanted to. Like, why can't you just go to the doctor, dude? It's kind of weird. Um, I wanted to talk to you all today about reality. And one of the things I love about our time together here on Wednesdays is I do feel like you and I can connect in a more reality based space. And you and I can have a conversation about things that a lot of people get butthurt around, or a lot of people don't want to talk about because they feel scared to say things to lose friends, right? There's an actual name for that when people are scared to actually speak the truth because they're too scared to lose friends or lose family or that. I'm not that person, by the way, and I think a lot of you are not, but us have um built this platform here where you can say things to me, and if they catch my eye or whatever, then we can have that conversation like, well, Buck, you're really a woman. Okay, that's cool. Yep, I am. I mean, I like to say female, not woman, but if you want to call me a woman, it's totally. If you saw my live with April Hutchinson yesterday, the Canadian power lifter, she won't call me he. She will not call me he. She does not acknowledge that I live as a man, and I'm actually totally okay with that. I am. I really am, because I actually like April and I don't want to lose my friendship with her. So if it makes her feel better to not acknowledge my wanting of her to call me he, okay, I'm just going to be, I don't know if it's the bigger person. I'm just going to be like, okay, whatever. I don't really care. Um I see something right here that's catching my eye that I want to talk about real quick here, because in regards to all of this, Dina says Billboard Chris is coming to Australia too. Do you all know? I'm going to bring this up real quick here because I want you all to. Do you all know who Billboard Chris is? I'm going to have some of my tea really. I'm drinking tea today because I'm feeling a little under the weather. I'm drinking Scottish tea with milk. It's so delicious. Ooh, I love it so much. Like if you've ever had Scottish or British tea with, which is basically black tea with milk, try it. It's unbelievably delicious. So, how many of you don't know? Okay, but I heard about him. I don't know who he is. Yes, he's great. Yes, yes, yes. So, I used to really like Billboard Chris. I thought he was an excellent person, and I think some of the work he does is actually really great. But let me ask you this, and I want your all of your honest opinion about this. So Billboard Chris basically fights for kids, which is what I do on some level, and Billboard Chris is very outspoken about believing that kids shouldn't transition and there's no such thing as a kid in a wrong body and there's no such thing as trans kids, which I agree with. But he also doesn't believe that trans people exist, which obviously I disagree with. He actually believes that I'm a bad person, and he has said very, very, very discouraging, nasty, horrible things about me because of my work in adult entertainment and because I transitioned and I live this way. He believes that I am part of the problem and that people like me need to be. Yeah, it's a bummer, Rebecca. I agree. I couldn't believe it because I actually supported him. I support his work. And then he just went after me and wrote nasty stuff about me and again, calling me she. I'm the problem. It's the reason why all these kids are transitioning, just laying heavy bullshit all over me. And I'm just like, what, dude? I actually support your work and you're coming. He just came nasty after me. And I was like, why? Why, dude? Why'd you have to do that? Like, now we're not going to be able to have a conversation because you're not even willing to have. You're just marking me with an X. I don't count. I'm not cool. Buck's the problem. Why all these kids are doing it. Buck was a pornographer. Buck this, Buck that. I'm like, wow. So I don't want to get all into it. Who cares? Because honestly, I don't care how you think about me. You can think about me how you want. Okay. I told you that. Even April calls me she. I'm cool with that. Right. What I am not cool with is when you start saying stuff like that about me. Like, this is all my fault. The reason why kids transition, the reason why pornography exists, the reason why even, I mean, even the most stringent conservative Christians have had conversation with me and we've walked away as friends. So, it's just weird that Billboard Chris would be so nasty towards me when I'm trying to fight the same fight, right? I'm just coming from a different angle. He's coming from this angle. And all of us are supposed to care about the kids here. You shouldn't care about me as an adult. You shouldn't care what I do as an adult. You shouldn't care unless I'm doing something nasty, clearly, if I'm a, pee person or doing stupid stuff. But to just come after me because you don't like that I'm settled in as a transsexual, and it just speaks to me that you don't really care about the ultimate goal here, right? Because why would you call me that? And why would you say those things about me without sit down with me, dude? Come on my podcast. If anyone knows Billboard Chris, come on my podcast, dude. I'm extending my hand to you. Come to my podcast. Let's sit here live in front of the audience I have built here, and we have a great community, and let's see why you feel like you need to say those nasty things about me. I'm always willing to have the conversation. I think all of you know that about me, and I think that's why I've actually garnered a very wide group of people here who were willing to have the conversation. You don't have to agree with me. That's why I think you show up. I'm not going to sit here and kick you out because you said Buck is a she. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to kick you out if you say something nasty to me, like it's my fault that X, Y, and Z. I'm not going to stand for that nonsense. But anyway, that's got a little off track there. But the Billboard Chris thing, I'm just actually really disgusted by him, and I think his work is important, but I also think on some level that he is being disingenuous. And do you really care about the kids? Because let me remind all of you here, I'm an actual transsexual and I have a powerful voice in this, whether you like me or not. A person like me who transitioned 32 years ago can really put a screw in this, can really help, to change things, because I'm with you. I am not with the trans activists. I'm with you. Children should never do this. Children don't know themselves. Children need to have adults telling them no. Children need to grow up, live a life, figure it out. Then maybe, if they choose to do this, we know we're all cool with adults making these choices. But that's what I don't understand when people are coming after me who really say that they care about the kids. Because if you cared about the kids, you would want an elder in the transsexual community to be part of that conversation, because I'm powerful in that conversation. Now, I don't need you to to again agree with me on that. You don't have to, and you don't have to like me. But it seems to me that if you really wanted to take care of this problem, you would want me to be okay on this particular situation and be with you. So that's why I just question Billboard Chris's motives here. You're never getting rid of trans people. Okay, we exist. Transsexual people exist. We have existed. We will exist. We won't go away. Okay, but you need to understand the difference between an actual transsexual person and activism and polling people in it who should never be in it. And it's why I created today's talk, right? About I see your super chats. I'll bring a couple up. You know, why I created the talk today to be Reality Bites Back, because I really going to show you some stuff that's happening. If you're not aware, I want you to see what's happening right now, which is incredible. So thank you, Lizzie. Nice to see you, friend. Maybe he'll turn around. It's easy to get too deep in the Twitter vibe. I agree. People stay stuck in old opinions. Yeah, that's right. You're right. I just moved on. I didn't, but I saw somebody talk about it. I don't have any, like, he can say whatever he wants to say. I'm not going to spend my time. And that's a very powerful thing. I hope that you all can understand. To get to a point where you sort of, you can't never not get hurt by what people say. Sometimes it'll seep through. But the majority of the time, I don't care what people say about me. But sometimes people will pick a fight with me and I'll just be like, really? You know, so I can really majority of the time just not let it affect me. But he has such a huge platform and he's making more separation within separate. So, you know, instead of just separating it like this, he's separating all of the interaction, which is making it weaker. If you just separate that one thing, it's not so weak. Does that make sense? But he's trying to get really deep in there and pull threads at this point. And that's not making our fight stronger. It's making our fight weaker, if that makes sense. Hey, Diva, thank you. Blair White said at the Nashville show that the angel part of your name fits you perfectly because you are gently. Oh, I love Blair so much. I really do. Blair is just a really great friend. And I just feel very protective of Blair. So thank you. Me and her have a very special bond with each other. And if anyone isn't following, please do. She's just one of the most amazing human beings. And it's because of her that I do this work. Hey, Bree, thank you, friend. I'm a Christian. There is a lot that I disagree with you on, and I still like and respect you. Kids are one. And that's right. That's all me and you have to be. And you prove my point. And thank you, Bree, for saying that. I have a lot of Christians who follow me who say that. And it's because that you're a true Christian. That to me, that's true Christianity. You know, you find the good, not the bad, right? And Jesus loves us all, even with our faults, even with all of that. That to me is the true, the real meaning of Christianity. And the real meaning of faith to me is really finding the good and not always seeking the bad and coming to the surface with that and not always going deep into people's stuff. Me and you don't have to agree on it all, and you don't have to agree on my lifestyle, and I understand why. 100% I do. And doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. It just means you just disagree with my choices in my life. And I don't even know you, so I can't say I disagree with your choices. I believe in faith, whatever that faith is. Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, a Mormon, whatever it is. I really believe that faith is what helps people move forward, because you're not the end all be all. And there's so much narcissism in the world today. And I think because we have taken faith out of a lot of things. And when people hear faith, they immediately talk about Christianity or a certain type of Christianity. That's not true. Faith is believing that you are not that important, that there is something higher and more important than you. And once you give yourself over, and I learned this through Alcoholics Anonymous, once you give yourself over to something bigger, you start to realize all the things you're doing to destroy yourself is why you're doing that. It's because you don't believe that you have a purpose here. Every single person has a purpose here, whether you believe it or not. And when you see homeless people or drug addicted people, they have never found their purpose. Now, some people actually want to be homeless, by the way. So is that word homeless is kind of, there's some people who don't want to live in this space that you and I live in. They want to be free on the streets and live in that. So you can't always make those, that idea that, oh, that poor person, maybe they want to be out there. The majority of people, I don't think they do. But at the same time, people struggle, man. We got to get back to some empathy and compassion for people instead of being, you're a loser. You don't think this way. You're a loser. Like, that's what I'm saying with Billboard Chris. I don't think Billboard Chris is a loser in any way, shape, or form. I just think he's being misguided in who I am. And he's not listening to me. He has never sat and listened to me. There's no way. Because if he has sat and listened to me, he would have a different opinion. And I know early on he actually was cool with me. So what happens is more of a divide starts to happen as things start to change. And I'm going to show you something right now. You all know I have been fighting for detransitioners. I have been fighting for the non-medicalization. There's no such thing as trans kids. I've been fighting against the trans ideology. I've been fighting basically what all of you have been fighting for. I have been fighting right alongside with you. So now as things are changing and laws are starting to be seen and reality is coming back, right? People are turning on me. Listen to what I just said. The people I fought alongside of are turning on me. Imagine that. When I sat with them, when they were struggling through their detransition, when they had nobody in the trans space who was listening to them, when they felt like offing themselves, when they saw no light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not saying that I was the end all be all, but I stood with them and I said, you're okay, kiddo. You should have never transitioned, and I'll fight for you and I'll speak up for you and I'll be there for you. And I thought this person was a friend of mine. And then they're writing all kinds of insane stuff about me and dividing the internet on me. Don't follow Buck. She's a pornographer. Her fault. It's because of you. You transitioned children. You blah, blah. I was just like, what? Couldn't believe it. Had to sit with myself for a couple days before I responded. Right? Never respond when you're mad. If your mom ever taught you something, never respond when you're mad. Write that email, sit with it. Sit with it. Don't put it out. Come back to it in an hour, in a day. Come back to it in a day. You probably won't send it. Right? Yeah, some of you know who it is. I'm not even going to say because it's not worth it. But I did eventually respond to this person with my own post. So then what did this person do? They went and dug something up about me, which I have spoken out on other lives, where this person found that I was working with a young person who was transitioning. This was, gosh, maybe 6 or 7, maybe more years ago, because the mother reached out to me when I did believe in puberty blockers. By the way, I did. I believed in puberty blockers. I believed children could transition. I always tell you that. I changed my mind. Isn't that a good thing? Isn't that a great thing that I changed my mind and I do not believe children should transition ever? Shouldn't you say, wow, Buck, you totally came around. Yay, good for you. But instead, they started digging stuff and they found this one video where I said I was working with this mom of a trans kid. I was trying to help them kind of go through this. And I said, I didn't transition that child. That child was transitioning. And I came, anyway, it's just, bleh. But my point being is, what happens now is when things are changing, all of a sudden, you're not useful anymore. That's kind of what I feel like. I'm not useful. Hi, Amsterdam. I'm not useful to them anymore. So does that make me feel used? Was I used? Was I used in a space to help them maybe get out of their depression and now I'm no longer useful? So now I'm a bad tranny? That's what I feel like. So I had to come to my own conclusion of why would somebody attack me and be so mad at me and call me these names and not be my sort of internet friend anymore. You want to know the conclusion I came to? It's not just them. There's a whole group of these people. And I started to see that they surrounded themselves with, I think, what you all call gender critical, the GC people. They don't like me. They do not like me. They, I'm on lists upon lists. I'm the problem. I'm just like, wow, I'm on that list too. Oh my God. Woohoo. I'm so popular. Right. So I started to notice that they surrounded like the horse and wagons surrounding them, just like, no, stay away from Buck. And I see that's what's happening here. So it's funny to me because I'll say this. I've always supported J.K. Rowling, and I've always said she's not transphobic. I've always put myself out there and said that, to the detriment of being completely ostracized from a community that I thought was mine. But who cares? I don't need a community that bad. That's not community to me. But my point being, I really have always supported J.K. She's not transphobic. And so me and her always had a sort of internet kind of talking back and forth on X, and she's always been so awesome to me and just said really nice things. Such as, I believe there are transsexual people. I have transsexual friends. She's always said that. And so she said, thank you, Buck. I appreciate you having my back, and blah, blah, blah. So recently she wrote, she wrote something like, the tide is turning, all this stuff is coming out. And I said in a little text, I said, thank you so much, JK. It's because of you that I can hold my head high. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for everything. And then she wrote me a really nice little, Buck, you will be remembered. She said something really sweet like that. Like, you'll be remembered in history for going against, basically going against that space. And I was like, wow, what a sweet, thing. And then all the gender critical people came on and were like, don't talk to Buck, JK. Don't talk to Buck. She is a part of the problem. She is blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? How embarrassing. How embarrassing. Not for me and not for JK, but for those people, those GC people. So want to know what happened after that? This is why I'm going to tell you. JK is an awesome person. Woman, man, whatever. She's a woman. She's amazing. She's just a human who is such integrity. You know what she said when they said, don't talk to Buck? She said, don't you dare tell me how to talk, or don't you dare tell me who to be friends with, blah, blah, blah. And then she went on to say, you're acting just as bad as the trans activist you hate. Bam. Bam. That should say everything. You all knew what an awesome woman she was anyway, but that should say everything to you right there. The divide that these people try to do is not helping anybody. Anybody. And JK is not an idiot. She's very smart. Well, whatever. We'll probably just always have our little X thing on there, and she's super chill like that. It's not like she's my best friend and any of that, but it shows her integrity to me. She's seen me fight for the same thing she's fighting for, okay? She does not believe trans people exist. She believes real trans people exist. Those people want to have it so we don't exist, so that people like me can't have this medicine, so that people like me don't have an opportunity to do this. What? Why? Why would anybody not want somebody like me to exist? I'm going to open up the floor. If I see something, I can't bring all your messages up. I really want to know, why would somebody fight to not have me exist when I agree with almost so many of the same things you all agree with? Control. But what's the control? I don't know why you wouldn't want me to exist. Why wouldn't you want somebody like me to not be an alcoholic, not be a drug addict, not be homeless, not be a prostitute, not be, struggling with my life, okay, which is everything I was before you see this guy here who's a family man, has a kid, moves forward, has businesses, pays taxes, straight up, so like all of the things you would want a human to have. Right? You make them think, they get radicalized. I do think that's one of the biggest things right there. Control and radicalized in their echo chambers. They get radicalized in their echo chambers. So don't you agree? They get radicalized in their echo chambers. Now, don't you agree that they're doing the same thing that they're saying the trans activists are doing? Don't you? I think so. I think they're doing everything they're saying they're fighting against. Yeah, yeah. They're doing everything they're saying they're fighting against. Because being transsexual isn't my, you guys know that. We talk about it because it's the subject matter on the table. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about my transition if it wasn't to do the ultimate thing, which is to save the kids. You all know that. When the kid thing is off the table, we're not going to be sitting here talking about trans shit here anymore. We're going to be talking about things going on in the world. We're going to be talking about rights. We're going to be talking about political stuff. We're going to be talking about, right now, my focus is these kids. They're the ones who are creating this space where all, like, I have to talk about being trans. It's boring. It's boring. I didn't transition to talk about being trans, okay? I do travel the world. I speak at lots of events about my transition, but want to know what the ultimate goal in my talks are that I get sent? Well, I'll be in Australia in February speaking at a group of people. I'll be in all of Asia. I'll be in Singapore. I'll be in Hong Kong. I'll be in Malaysia. I'll be in Indonesia. I'll be in Thailand in April. I'll be in those 5 places speaking about my transition, but that's not the only thing I'm speaking about. That's not my platform just because I'm transsexual. My platform is becoming yourself. I speak to people who are not trans. I speak to businesses. I speak to people to say, you can be what you need to be. Trans is just my plugin that enabled me to be an entrepreneur, creating products, a businessman, happy, not drugged out, on the homeless, but I picked myself up against all odds. On some level, I am a person who wants you to have the same thing I have. So when I speak to these people, I speak to them with, okay, this is my background. I was born a girl. I transitioned to live as a man. Now we can move that out of the way. And then it all came to me. And then the power came to me because I got to be in this suit and tie and beard and mustache. And now I don't have to feel bad about myself anymore. I feel connected to me so I can connect to you. That's the message. That's the message. The message in transition is connect to you, so to your own self, so that I and you can connect as humans. That's the message of transition. It's not me, poor me. I'm trans. I'm a victim. Help me. Give me money. Pay for my surgery. I can't do anything. I'm sick. That's not the message. They've all gone off the deep end. That's why I can show you they are not truly, and I'm using that word truly, these kids are seeking help. These kids are seeking somebody to say, stop me. When you're drinking alcohol and you're cutting yourself and you want to die, you think that you really want to be in that space? No, you do not. I was there. I was that person. I hated myself. I cut myself. I beat myself up. I ended up homeless. I drank alcohol until I couldn't see anymore. I used crack cocaine. I prostituted, which is all so horrifying when I look back on it. The message is, I needed help. Nobody could hear me until I said, help me. It had to come from me, not from you. These kids are saying, help me. And nobody's listening to them. They're saying, here's drugs. Here's drugs. We can give you puberty blockers and you will become, which is all bullshit. That's not what they need. They are not asking for that. They are asking to help me. The last thing we want is for these kids to do what I did. Nobody could help me 32 years ago. Nobody could help me because I could not even help myself. I did not even know things existed. I did not know that I could do this as an adult. You cannot do this until you are sober, okay? Nobody on drugs and alcohol should ever transition, ever. Ever, ever, ever. That should be one of the number one things that they make sure you're not doing. Drinking, doing drugs in a bad situation. They should make sure that you are solid. You've had mental health care. That's why I tell you, I guarantee you the majority of these kids, if you get them into a really healthy environment, you get them connected, hopefully back with their families, okay? You get them into a space where they're not drinking and using drugs, and you get them into a space that said, you're okay, kiddo. Let's just figure out what's going on with you. Maybe you have a little autism. Maybe you do have bipolar. Maybe you do have some comorbidities that we're not discussing here, okay? Because we all know that. So a lot of these kids are dealing with that, and no one's saying that. They're just saying, oh, you're trans. Oh, let's give you drugs. You'll be fine. Do you know that the drugs make you worse? The drugs make you worse. The only reason why the drugs made me better is because I wasn't doing drugs and I wasn't on alcohol. I wasn't homeless. I wasn't all the things that still make me cry. They still make me cry. And I travel the world talking about this constantly, but I don't talk about being trans. That's a very small part of who I am. But now we've made it a big part of who everybody is. And it's why I'm telling you there's something wrong here. And I really want you to understand it's changing. It's changing. Have a drink. I'm going to have my tea is getting cold. Men don't cry. You're right. Men don't cry. That's probably one of the biggest problems. Men don't cry. I would say, number one, that we better change that narrative. Men don't cry. I have to show you that one. Men don't cry. We need to change that. That is probably one of the most insane. We've really done a disservice. We've done a disservice to men by telling them they don't cry. How dare we do that? How dare we tell men they don't cry, right? Like, it's just like, wow, really? Since when don't men cry? And I cry all the time. If you notice, if you come here, right? So let me bring a couple of these up here. Hey, Blue. Thank you, friend. My ex was abusive and blamed it on watching aggressive porn. See, people blame porn for everything. It's ridiculous. But he was just a sick person that hates women. I got it, though. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. It means a lot to me. I'm not telling you that porn is the best, like, wow, it's so great, you'll change your life. No. You've got to hear what I say when I talk about pornography, people. It's called adult entertainment. It is a fantasy. It is, number one, it's a fantasy. It just goes kind of crazy sometimes. It's a fantasy. It should never be accessible to young people. Okay, it is not sex education. It is not a way to learn about how to have sex. It is for adults to use in a very consensual way, period. Some of the stuff on there, I would say I disagree with, and there needs to be laws around it. But that's just me being me. But we've got to stop this idea that porn is the problem. It is not the problem. You know, people want to consume porn for many reasons. And I do believe the internet has made it a worse space. You have to remember where I come from. I come from the place of adult entertainment when it was DVD. Totally different. You had to actually go to a store, rent the DVD, bring it home. It took a whole space for you to do it. And it wasn't so out of control. Now it is a bit out of control. Lizzie says, it just blows my mind that there's still people who don't know you were in porn. I know, it's so stupid. I'm always open about it. I'm so open about it. I feel you. I'm turned on all the time. Makes it hard to remember who you are sometimes. And it's normal, people. Sex is normal. Sex is good. Sex is something we should celebrate. Osprey, thank you, friend. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Hey, Watcher, how you doing, friend? We love you, Buck and Fork. All thank you, friend. I know you guys are also super great to me. You really are. It makes me so happy that I know that we've amassed such a great community here, and I do get sensitive around it because I just happen to be a sensitive guy. Hey, Chris Kitty, nice to see you. It's because of the misogynistic mentality that you're invading men's spaces and you're proving them wrong. Yeah, that makes sense. There's just so many layers of people's insecurity, spirit. Hey, thank you, friend. I forgot to add this. Have you heard about Nancy Mace? Yes, she was physically. Yes, I did. Do you want to talk about that? Do you guys want to talk about Nancy? Let me get a couple more of these, and then I can comment on that. Hey, Lynn, thank you, friend. They're starting to talk about autism like an identity now. Ugh. This is what I was scared of in Sweden, and it's freaking me out. It's the same that happened to trans. Yeah, autism is not an identity. Okay, it's a disorder, people. Hey, crazy. Was raised by a single father. Men do cry. I love you. They do, and they need to cry. Let's encourage men to cry. Please, let's encourage it. I think it would be a better world if we just let men stand on the stage and cry. Okay? I think it would be very, very powerful. And I think that we would have a different world. Oh my God. The turn on is that last comment looks like horror. Oh, I meant turn on. Behind by people. I changed topics in a weird way. That's all right, friend. Um, you want to talk a little bit about Nancy Mace? Okay, I see that. So Nancy Mace, let me just say this, and I'm going to say this as a transsexual. I don't blame her. I don't think she's cool. I think it's kind of making things a little bit worse. Doesn't mean that I don't blame her. If you keep getting punched in the face, if you just keep getting punched in the face, what are you going to do? Are you going to just keep sitting there taking being punched in the face? Nope. Pretty much you're not. You're going to lose your temper eventually, right? And you're going to punch back or do something worse. So I had said this all along. She's now using the derogatory trans word. Okay, I'm not really sure if I can say it here, but I'll just say it. Tranny. She's saying tranny, which hasn't been used for such a long time by you people who are not trans. Okay, you know that was always a derogatory word, except used in our own community with each other. But now she started calling us trannies. Do you blame her? I don't. And she said this exact thing. She said, we asked you a million times not to call us cis, and you kept doing it, and we're telling you it's a slur, and I said it. So she said, all the trannies, and there it is, right there. She just opened the floodgate. So now everyone's saying it, and here it comes. So what are you going to do? Maybe if you would have listened to women like I kept telling you to do, calm down. Stop calling people other names like turf and cis and all these things. Calm down. You open the door for people to come after us now. And then there was such a crazy trans, was it? I don't know if it was a trans man. I couldn't really understand it, right? Better than troon. I don't even know what troon means. I'm on some troon list. Yes, cis. Okay, so let me tell you about cis. Yeah, because people use it on some level as a slur. Like, so I call myself a tranny. I even have a tranny hat. I don't think of it, it's again context, right? It's all how you use words, and it's the way you use the word. If you're like, "Hey, Buck, yo, tranny, what's up?" then I'm cool with that, right? But if you're like, then I'm not cool with that. It's the same with cis, like that stupid cis. They call you cis scum. They call you all these words, right? Oh, I see, Salvador. It's goon, but troon, whatever. I'm on some troon list now. It's just ridiculous. These people, it's the same gender critical people. So anyway, Nancy Mace got attacked by some trans person or supporter of trans, or if I'm wrong, you can say that here and all. How dare you attack her? She works for, what are you doing? What are you people doing? How do you even think that's going to help trans people when you attack her? Physically attack, you are building their case against us. You are literally handing it to them. You're such a bunch of morons. You're so dumb. Here, it's just going to get me mad. So I want to bring up this because I don't want it to get too late that I can't show you this. Watch. Label, yeah, I don't understand. Labels, they usually come from a bad space. So I want to show you, I'm going to share my screen with a couple of these very important subjects, okay? So here we go. Let me find this first. Okay. These are all really 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 important. Okay, so here's this. Hold on, share. Let me get over here. Hold on one sec. I want to Can you all see that? I hope you can. Okay? So, let me read this real quick here. Which one? Okay. NHS trust that spread misinformation with claim trans women could breastfeed as well as new mothers makes a U-turn under pressure. The NHS trust that spread misinformation by claiming transgender women could breastfeed as effectively as new mothers has performed a U-turn after outrage from campaigners. Oh my God. Really, people? Really? Seriously? So here it comes. This is why today's topic is reality bites. Okay? Here we are. It's all coming back. They're all going to get nailed. Okay? All of the crap that these people have said about women, about breastfeeding, about everyone has a uterus, anyone can get pregnant, anyone can breastfeed. They just said no. The same place, the National Health Institute in UK, that said trans women can breastfeed, literally said, whoops, no, go F yourself. Go F yourself. You put women in such a nasty space by saying that, NHS. You put women in such a horrible space. And now I want to ask you this. Do you think it's okay just to apologize? I don't. After all the stress we all went through, oh, I'm getting to the periods. All the stress we all were like, what? What, trans women can't breastfeed, trans women can't get pregnant, and trans women do not have their period. They are men. And so now they're like this. Whoops. Sorry. No. What about everyone who suffered from that shit? Right? I mean, I don't know what. I guess apology is better than nothing, but what? How are we just going to let them off the hook like that? I'm not cool with that. I'm actually not cool with that. After all the shit we all went through. And now it's like, nope. Okay, so that's number one. I know, tampons in the men's room. Are you insane? Okay, so here, let me bring the next one up. You're going to love this one. Okay, watch this. This is, oh, God. Ugh. Spain says it will ban trans women from female sports and remove the Q plus from LGBTQ. You guys, I'm like laughing. Spain's Socialist Party has announced plans to ban transgender women from competing against biological females in sports, as part of a proposed amendment to the country's LGBTQ plus laws. The changes announced during a party's Congress in Seville also included removing the term queer from the LGBTQ plus. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, who was recently reelected as Secretary General of the Socialist Party, despite corruption probes, well, there you go, besetting his inner circle, has defended the proposals which claim to address concerns raised by traditional feminist factions of the party. Here it comes. That's number 2. What do y'all think about that one? Here it comes. I'm telling you. Okay, so they're going to remove queer plus IAGBB pee pee poo poo. They're finally going to say men can't compete with women. Here comes another one where we all just sat around and watched women get slaughtered by dudes because trans women are women. So there's the second one. Apology. Never mind. We decided that actually they're men. And oh, wow, you guys. Just wow. Okay, so hold on. 2. Okay. Number three. Okay, wait. This one is really good. You're going to love this one. Okay. I've been waiting. This one I've been waiting for because this one hits home big time. Not the other two didn't, but this one is very, very important. This one, hold on, where did it go? Here it is. America's best known practitioner of youth gender medicine is being sued right here at the LA Children's Hospital. Joanna Olson Kennedy, who's the #1 prescriber of puberty blockers for trans kids, leads the Center for Trans Youth in LA's Children's Hospital. One of her patients thinks she has been neglected. Basically, it goes, I'll just read this first part. Joanna Olson Kennedy is among the most celebrated youth gender medicine clinicians in the world. She has been the medical director for the Center of Trans Youth Health and Development at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, one of the first high-profile American youth gender clinics, and presently the largest since 2012. A frequent expert witness in court cases who is often quoted in the media, Dr. Olson also leads a $10 million initiative funded by the National Institute of Health to study youth gender medicine, by far the largest such project in America. In addition, she is the president. Anyway, it goes on to talk about, you guys, this is actually huge news. This is huge news. This is a young girl who is now going to sue this doctor here in Los Angeles. She was put on puberty blockers at 12. Her boobs were removed at 13 years old. At 13. Do you have boobs at 13? Even if you do, I don't care. Okay? She hid the results. She's going down, you guys. If this woman does not go to jail, then we need to protest. Because this woman needs to be put in jail. Oh, I swear, I have chills in my body. I have chills. When I read that, I cried because this young girl, who is now 21, was told at 12 that she was a trans man, okay? That she was trans, okay? They cut her boobs off. They gave her hormones. They did all this shit to her. And when you read the article, if you want, I could put the link in the thing or you can just look it up. It's going to blow your mind. I'm going to do a video on it as well because it's so, oh, you guys, we're winning. We're winning. It's all coming down. Smoke and mirrors. It's all coming down. But what I had said before to you all, these poor kids. What about these poor kids? Who's going to be? Thank you, Linda. Thank you, friend. That means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. You guys, what about the kids? What about the kids who cut their boobs off? What about this young girl who is now 21? Who has no breasts. In fact, she might even be infertile. She might never, ever be able to have children. Ever. 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 Whose fault is that? Hey, friend. I belong to a couple gender critical pages and go to bat regularly for you. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Is that AI or AL? I don't. For you and Blair. They want to compel my speech. Their lack of nuance. Many of them are cool, but many of them exist. See, thank you for saying that. Those are the people I'm actually talking about. They don't want to help. They don't want to find, it's solutions, friends. Do you know the word solution? Do you want to have solutions? Do you want to have solutions? Thank you, friend. Thanks for being a member. You guys, it's about solutions. It's not about I'm smarter than you, or I know better than you, or my side wins and yours doesn't. It's about solutions. The solution isn't going to be just fuck these kids, and the solution is finding out why these kids. Why do all these kids think they're trans? That's the solution. Thank you, and thank you, friend. Thank God, and thank you, Buck, for fighting. Leave the kids alone, weirdo freaks. Totally. Thank you, Angela. Honestly, you guys, we can't just take it off the table and then just say no. Why do these kids feel like they are trans? Thanks for gifting memberships. You guys are so amazing. Thank you. Thank you. That's what we have to talk about here. It's called solutions. The solution isn't just to say you're not trans, even though we know they're not. The solution is to say, okay, let's look at the bigger picture here. We need to figure out why so many kids all of a sudden feel they're trans. I believe it's the internet. I also believe it's like, thanks for being a new member, Cooper. Thank you. I believe it's a lot of things. But I also believe that we need to understand why. Why would so many kids all of a sudden out of nowhere think they are trans? And I think it's the internet. I think it's the medical association. I think it's wingnets like Joanna Olson, Dr. Olson at the LA Children's Hospital. I think, and she needs to go to jail, by the way. She doesn't just need to have a slap on the hand. She needs to go to jail. She knew exactly what she was doing. That kid had no mental health care. None. Zero. When you read the article, it's going to blow your mind. How can you do that to a kid? I think one more thing I wanted to share with you here. Spain trust. Oh, this one. Bam, friends. Okay, did you hear about this one? Check this out. Government UK, okay, gov.uk. Ban on puberty blockers to be made indefinite on experts' advice. Existing emergency measures banning the sale and supply of puberty suppressing hormones will be made indefinite following. So basically, here's what's happening, you guys. Let me see. Sale and supply of puberty blockers via private prescription for the treatment of gender incongruence and or gender to be banned for anyone under the age of 18. Do you understand how huge that is? Because here's what was happening. They banned it in UK in the NHS, okay? So then what was happening, because I was listening, they were going to have it so any private organization, so if you paid out of pocket, you could go to shit like, what was that one, Stonewall or Planned Parenthood, and you could go and you could actually still get puberty blockers in a private setting. So it was still available, but in a private setting, and you had to pay out of your pocket. But now, with this new law, bitches, off the table. Off the table. Nobody can have puberty blockers until 18 when it's already too late because you already went through puberty. It's amazing. Yeah, I will. When I finish here, I'll go and put all these links in the description of the video, okay? I don't know. Maybe I could do it while we're talking. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me just grab this. I should have done that. I apologize. I'm putting it right now in the I put it in the chat right now. Let me see if it goes up. There it is. You could, if you all can share it, there it is right there. If you all can share it, that would be awesome. It's a very, very important document. This is it right here. With the lawsuit, with this, it's all crumbling. It's all crumbling, you guys. They're not going to be able to even do it privately. This is the key to this whole thing. They can't privately sell puberty blockers anymore. It's amazing. It is. We should all be proud of ourselves. We all did this. We all did it. All of us together. We did this. It's just, I'm mind blowing. So we got Spain going, men cannot compete with women, and we're taking the QIA pee pee poo poo out of the thing. Bam. We got, sorry, men can't breastfeed. Whoops, we made a mistake. So we got that. And then we got, what was the other one? Then we got puberty blockers. And then we got the lawsuit against Dr. Olson here at the LA Children's Hospital. We should all be very proud of ourselves, you guys. We should all give ourselves a pat on the back. We should all be so happy that things are moving forward and people are hearing us. It's just, I can't believe, I feel like I won the lottery on some level, because I don't want to say I told you so to the trans activists, but told you so, you morons and you're disgusting freaks. So I just want to have a little fun before we go here, because hold on. I got a couple of these TikToks I wanted to share with you. You know that guy, JVN, who I hate? He's on Queer Eye for the Straight Guy or whatever it is, right? And he's such a child groomer freak. And he's just a gay man who thinks he's non-binary. I can't stand that guy. So anyway, you all know the CEO got shot, blah, 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 right? Like, it's horrible. Healthcare in America sucks. We need to redo the system. But I don't care what you believe. Here's what I believe. Nobody should be killed. Okay? Sorry. No, you can't just go shooting up people. Okay? But now all these wokey left people are cheering on, right, the killing of a CEO. What? You can't do that. These are the same people who are anti-gun, by the way. They're crazy. These woke weirdo people are crazy. They are such hypocrites. Like that should be the first thing that's on their sort of manifesto. Hypocrisy. Everything that comes out of their mouth is hypocrisy. They don't want guns. It's our fault that kids are being killed. Like, I'm totally pro-gun, by the way. Blah, 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 blah. And then now somebody shoots a CEO and it's okay. What? Make up your mind. So now I see what's happening. They're just picking and choosing who can be killed and who can't be killed, right? Or who can use a gun and who can't use a gun, right? Hey, Cecilia, nice to see you. All this mess and all this shit to come could have been avoided if the adults would have been truthful and used reasons. Yes, but it also comes down to money, Cecilia. It also comes down to money. There was a lot of money being made, I guarantee you. So this idiot, JVN, says this stuff that's just so upsetting to me. He was like, oh, did you see the guy who shot the CEO? He was so handsome. What? What are you talking about? He was so handsome. What? Okay, so anyway, check this out.
They caught the shooter, the cute shooter. Someone turned him in. But can you hear that? It's the sound of women grabbing their pins to become prison pen pals because he is super cute.
I can't stand that guy. He's making light of it. He's making light of somebody's death. Now, the whole system, no one's arguing. It's gross. The healthcare system is gross. But honestly, you actually think that man should have been killed over that? Come on, it's not just him. Hi, friend. Thank you so much. When it was cool to smoke, they smoked. When it was cool to have a mental disorder, they all did videos pretending to have one. That's right. Now it's being trans. People need to know. I know. You're right. That's what I said earlier. We need to figure out. We can't just stop everything. We need to figure out why are so many of these kids pushed into this space. That is to me. Thank you, friend. That's one of the most important parts of this whole fiasco. Okay, I only have time here for a couple more. Lizzie says, I love guns. Doesn't mean I am shooting real people. Exactly. You know, responsible gun owners. Come on, people. There's a thing called responsible gun ownership, okay? So, like, that's what we need to talk about. I think I wanted to bring, oh, man, this one is going to blow your mind, people. This one is going to blow your mind. Now, I don't like to make fun of people. I don't, but sometimes you just got to, because these people are completely off their rocker, and it's not, this is gross. Watch this. Wait, let me make sure I have it queued up here. Wait, it's not the one. I think it might be this one.
This is my story. I was born as James Lyle, September 2nd, 1947. I have lived the past 6 years.
Can you see it? Wait a minute. Well, can you read it? It says this is a teacher and a principal of a school. Wait a minute. Wait, this is actually
as my true self, a 75-year young transgender woman.
This is a 75-year-old principal of a school, and why do they look like that? And they're calling themselves a trans woman. Okay, yeah, dear God, that's scary.
I'm the happiest I've been in my entire life. If you remember nothing else from this short testimony, remember that being trans is not a choice.
Wait, I'm going to stop this person for one moment. Let me just explain something to you as an elder transsexual. No, it's not a choice to have a mental disorder, which transsexualism is. It's a mental disorder, okay? No one's choosing that. But want to know what a choice is? And listen to me. It is a choice to physically transition. It is. There are many people who choose never to do what I or this person is supposedly doing, okay? And they can live in their dysphoria. So far, this person is wrong. If they said it, nobody chooses to have a mental disorder, that would be different. But people do choose to transition. It is absolutely a choice that I made.
It's biological.
And it's why children can't do it, because children can't make this choice.
We are born this way. I was born with the brain of a girl.
No, you weren't, you psycho. This is a teacher.
And the body of a boy. Now that was the cursed part. The blessing part was that Lacey inside of me for all those years made me a better person. more loving,
Can you imagine these people are in front of children? These people are in front of children saying this nonsense.
more compassionate, a man with a feminine sweetness, not effeminate.
What?
It made me a better teacher,
No, it didn't.
principal, and more importantly, a dad. My kids are in my life. I loved and still love being their dad, now and forever. I've been married 3 times.
Of course you
I
have.
tried so hard to make it work. I hope that
Sorry, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I've been married 3 times. Oh my God.
this, me, would go away. But she never did. I knew in 1952, when I was 5 years old, that I was female.
No, you
It was a
didn't.
much different time then.
Dude, you're 75. So if you're 75, when was he 3 years old? Is that what he said? He knew since he was a kid. I hate that trope. I knew since I was a kid. No, you didn't.
Still not easy today. Not accepting. Deviant classification. No work for many, many rejections, many misgenderings. So I hid her deep in a vault in my soul for all those years.
Oh my God.
I became a teacher, a professional singer, and a high school principal. I was suicidal twice,
Oh, well, that's
and I had a nervous breakdown trying to accept myself.
okay. Well,
I was filled with fear.
maybe you need to go to therapy and deal with your stuff and then come back. But I don't necessarily think this person is a healthy representative to be teaching school.
With guilt and shame. But I persevered. I also wanted to know what I was like as Lacey. As my true self, I discovered that I like me.
But why do they look like that? Do they actually think they look like a lady? Because I'm actually really, it's a real question. It's a real question. And this is what makes me question it, you guys. Like, seriously, what's going on in the head of this person? They're not making an effort to look like a woman. That does not look like a woman. Let's just all be honest here, okay? Come on. This is a 75-year-old man who thinks they're a woman. Okay, dude, right on, go for it. But seriously, what? Where are you getting your tips from?
I even love me. I see my female soul in my mind's eye. I'm totally comfortable in my own skin. My soul is no longer quivering.
Oh, God.
I feel God close most days. I'm active in my church. It's rare for a trans woman to come out at my age. I've been through a year of intense therapy, followed by support groups for another year.
Only a year.
I've had 6 surgeries to feminize me more. I'm going through a personal resurrection.
No.
Lacey is a gift.
You see what Lacey is doing? Lacey is making all of us, you and I, have to affirm their stuff, mental illness, okay? Because there's clearly something going on here, okay? Clearly. And I as a transsexual, I'm telling you, this person would not do this if they actually had dysphoria, because they do not in any way, shape, or form represent a woman. And I don't even, if you look at, I have older trans friends, by the way, who are that age, who look nothing like that, okay? So I have a real hard time with this. And I really, I'm going to keep saying this as a transsexual. You do not get everything you want, okay? I'm around kids. I have a kid. I have a 12-year-old. If that person was the principal of my kid's school, I'll tell you what, on a daily basis, and let's just, I'm talking real here. I'm not saying it's okay, and I'm not saying it sucks to get bullied or any of that. I don't like any of that. But let's be real here, friends. You don't think this principal would be bullied by the kids every single day? And do you think that this person was going to be accepted by the teachers, by the parents? Oh my God, I wouldn't even accept it. So people would, that's right, they would homeschool their kids. This person, it feels like they're doing this to get validation from the rest of the world, which that's not the way it works, buddy. You got to validate yourself and then go back into the world. But the fact that this person is a principal at a school, I just don't understand that. And I don't think it's helping children in any way, shape, or form.
That God has given me. I know love I now know that I love who I am.
Well, so what?
My mind, my body,
Wow.
and soul.
But it's all about you. It's all about you, Lacey. What about the kids? You look scary. And everyone knew you as a dude because you just transitioned. So you were probably the principal of the school, and then all of a sudden you transitioned. You think kids are okay with that? Come on, man. We gotta get back to some sense of reality here. Like, okay, you need a transition for whatever need you to do that. You're subjecting your children to it. Whatever you need to do, you can do that. But when you are responsible for a group of kids at a school system, I think we need to put our foot down. I mean, I think somebody who passes, like let's just say Blair White, could go in and do that because nobody would ever know she's trans, and she's not talking about being trans.
No one.
So that's how I really, that one really bothered me a lot, and I was making fun of them because I think they're making fun of themselves. Weird, just weird. What was that? That's not a representation. One last thing I want to bring up here, and then I'll let you guys go.
Fixed.
So you all know it. I think they're called trans widows, right? They're women who are married to men, and then the man decided that they were a woman, and then they just dump on their wife, and then they become a woman. They're called trans widows. I've actually interviewed a couple on my podcast channel. So I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I really want you to hear this because I want to say something because I found this to be really interesting. Okay, listen.
Biological sex is not binary.
Oh, wait, that's not her. Oh, she's annoying. I'll play this one really quick. Listen to this. This is the no, actually, I don't want to. I want to do this one. I want to do this one.
In divorce.
The audio is kind of down.
I'm going to start telling the story of how my 15-year marriage and 17-year relationship with what I thought was a man ended up in divorce because she transitioned to being a female.
Wait, how many years? Wait, sorry. Listen.
I'm going to start telling the story of how...
You can't hear it?
15-year marriage and 17-year relationship with...
Sorry, the audio on the video is low. If you can turn your own audio up, I think you can. Okay? 15-year marriage. I know it's quiet. I put it all the way up, so there's not much more I can do. 15-year marriage. If you could put it up on your own machine or wherever you're listening, you'll be able to hear it, okay? Yeah, I know. Put your own audio up. Okay, so listen. I just want you to see this. 15-year marriage. Yeah.
I thought was a man ended up in divorce because she transitioned to being a female. There have been I put some teasers out there, and I have been really thinking about how to handle this in a chronological way because I realize some of you are like, wait, I can't put the timeline together. So I've been thinking for a few days about where it is that I need to start.
So okay, you all can't hear. I'll try to find another one for the next show. But listen, she's a woman. I'm going to start following her on TikTok, okay? And she had a 15-year or 17-year marriage. And all of a sudden, after 15, let's just say 15-year marriage, her husband decided they wanted to be a woman. And then people are questioning her about how did you not know? Which I don't think is fair. I actually don't think is fair. Because she might not have known because this person was not honest. And I would be pissed yeah, me too. Who said that? I would be pissed. I think someone just said that. That's how I was feeling about it. I would be pissed. Jules says that. If my man came to me 15 years from now and told me he was a girl, like you didn't think to admit it 15 years ago before I built a life with you and dreamed, thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I would be so pissed. Let me explain something to you. I transitioned 32 years ago. Prior to my transition, I lived as a gay woman, okay? And I had many girlfriends and many long-term girlfriends, okay? Maybe 5 years, because that's what lesbians do. But anyway, I digress. So the last girlfriend I had, I started taking hormones, and it became disastrous because I started to look like a man, and she was not into men. She was into women, into butch women, which is different than a man. And so our relationship started to crumble. We were in our relationship for about 3 years. Oh, no, maybe it was a little less. Let's say 2 years when I started taking the hormones. And it was a disaster. And our relationship ended up really bad. And we broke up, of course. I learned a lot from that. So for much of the time of my early transition, I never got a partner. I never got a partner. I learned from that. I said, I have to do this on my own. It is not fair to do this. Even if the person is into me, I don't think it is fair to do until you are solid in your transition. And it is one thing I say to young trans people today. Don't you get into a relationship. Also understand, if you are about to transition and you're with a girl right now, she might change her mind about you because you're going to start to look like me. And she's a lesbian. It's not fair to do that. So I agree with the person who said I would be pissed, because I would be pissed too. If all of a sudden, after 17 years of marriage to a man, he springs on you that he's a woman or wants to be a woman, that is so shitty on so many levels. I suggest you saying, maybe this first. Maybe you should say to your wife, okay, I want a divorce. Maybe that's what you should say. Maybe you should say, it's not working out. Maybe you should let them down in a way that's not like this. And I'll tell you why. Hey, Ellie, thank you, friend. This reminded me of the Chris Tyson situation. He left his wife and son. That's right. By the way, we appreciate and love you, Buck. Thank you, friend. Yep, that's exactly right. It's happening more and more. Also, do you notice it's happening more and more? So I think that this dude, if he was straight up, he should have just said, it's not working out, the marriage. It's not working out for me, and I think we should get a divorce or we should separate. But I do not think it is fair to say I'm a woman. That it's not fair. It's not fair to put that on your partner. It's not fair to put I'm a man on your partner. I'm a woman on your partner when you're the opposite. It's actually gross, and it actually is so disrespectful to the other person. I understand people go through stuff, and I understand people change and people that, but to put a transition on a person after 17 years, I do not. Nope. Also, I want to ask you this before we go. Why does it seem to be more men? Why does it seem to be more men saying this to their wives than women saying it either to their husband or to their girlfriends? Do you notice that? It's all these women who are trans widows from their husbands. I think it's interesting that it's all men who are transitioning with that situation. And all of a sudden, after 17 years, you're deciding to become a woman? It's a fetish. Yeah, it's not. He's going to regret it. This dude who just did this to his wife, he is going to regret it because it's just a fetish. And when the whole game of the fetish wears off and he no longer wants to be that woman anymore and he's not getting the attention that he was getting early on, he's going to change his mind. And then what? And then what? You're going to go try to get your wife back? Ain't going to happen, buddy. These are things these people need to think about. And they need to think about, is it really worth it to chase that fetish? Go get a dominatrix and pay the dominatrix $500 an hour. Do your little fetish in the dominatrix secret space. And then get your shit back together, dude. Put your clothes back on and go home to your wife and kids. Like that. That's what I keep telling you all. There are great aspects to the sexual space. I worked in that space, okay? I worked in the domination space. I saw all kinds of these dudes come in who were businessmen, who had wives, who actually they even spoke to their wives about it. There was I'm not into it, dude, but like, okay, go get it out. It's like therapy. Go get your sexual therapy out, and then we'll just deal with it later on. But I don't think people are even talking about that. This is a sexual fetish. It's a fetish. It's not trans. There's two different things going on here. Yeah, it's obsessive. AGP is obsessive. The fetish is obsessive. They get so obsessed with being this woman and being this thing that they don't care about anything else. It's kind of like drug addiction. Drug addiction is like that. You don't care about anything else. You just want that hit of crack. You just want that snort of meth. You don't care about whoever it hurts. It feels the same very obsessive drug behavior to me. That's what it feels like to me as a recovering drug addict. It feels very much like I'm gonna get it. I don't care what anybody else says. And these people are ruining so many lives doing this, and people are encouraging these people to be trans. And I think it's so sad to me when women are just being put in these horrible positions. You don't see it the other way around. I want you to all think about that. So I'll take this last thank super chat, and then we'll head out. Um, Hey Kelly, thank you, friend. The documentary Through the Looking Glass, Trans Widows, it's great. It's told firsthand from all these women, and it's incredibly insightful. It's on YouTube, and absolute must. Yes, I loved it. Women out there need to see this. I agree. I watched it. It was fantastic. I've also interviewed on my podcast channel um, some trans widows who've been really very open about their experience, and it always makes me cry. Those interviews make me cry because it's just so heartbreaking to hear these women lose their whole relationship with the person they thought they knew. It's so mind blowing that you think you know this person from the inside out, and then one day they're just not that same person. Like, what? I don't know. It's very sad to me. But thank you all so much for spending time with me today. Thank you for the therapy session. Thank you for the worldwide community we are building. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for caring about me. Thank you for caring about the kids. Thank you for seeing all the things that all of us together are changing. The kids are going to come back to us. We are going to dismantle the lies, the stealing, the cheating, all of it. We're doing it. We're doing the work together. So I can't do this channel without you. I can't do these things without you. So I always appreciate you all so much. I hope that you feel that through this crazy machine. And with that, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I have a new video coming out tomorrow, and then Friday I have another live cast coming with a very special guest. So I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting, doing all the things you do to create a great channel here. So have a great rest of your day or night or wherever you are, and happy holidays. But we'll talk about that on the next stream. Okay, love you guys.